with a mental condition of some sort. We come into this world perfect, beautiful, lovely creatures, blank slates, and we learn through culture and society and a lot of things how not to dream, how not to take chances, how not to be compassionate. Our hearts grow cold because of life. But I believe at the core of every human being is an innate goodness. And this ministry, our hope is to remind people of that innate goodness that dwells within, to allow that, to choose that innate goodness every day. Now that innate goodness is there, but also within us is the possibility for doing some not so good things. That's there. That's reality. That is life. I'm going to take a slightly different approach from Dana, a more spiritual approach. I think that's appropriate. And that's why we have Coach Time. Coach Time is more secular. It's more what you're accustomed to if you go pick up a book from the bookshelf at Barnes and Nobles, with Dana's touch, which we really like her touch. But the few words, the message, the brief message, I hope, is meant to try to connect you to something greater than yourselves, the God of your understanding. So I just want to say this, that it's not about success or failure. And I want to come right back to that. See, I know failure like all of you. I failed a lot. I don't particularly mind talking about it. I don't like talking about it. I'm not embarrassed about it, but, you know, I try to get my ego and my pride in order, but sometimes it gets the best of me, and I have to admit, I don't want to think about some of the things that I've gone through. I've been conned out of lots of money from people who came to me with business propositions, and they made me think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I believe them. I've had many opportunities for my heart to grow cold in life. And most of you see me as a positive person, and I am. I choose to be. But it's not because I've had an easy life. Actually, I've had a pretty good life, but it hasn't been all easy. But I choose to be happy. I choose to accept the cause and effect that comes with this life. I failed in businesses. A lot of you don't know, before I became a minister, I was in advertising. I had several businesses. Some lasted longer than others, but if there's something in advertising, you name it, I've sold it. So I wasn't a very good salesman, I'll tell you that for sure. And people say, well, you're a good salesman, so you're going to be a good minister. I said, well, if that's the case, I'm going to be a horrible minister. Because I'm a bad salesman. I was the kind of guy who would go in and say, okay, it costs $1,000 per commercial. And the guy would say, I only have 500. I would say, sold, let's go. You know, I've had friendships break up because of ignorance and saying things I shouldn't have said to friends over the years. That's failure to me. I was married for, 15, 16 years to my college sweetheart. Failed in that. I've had my share of failures, as we all have. I've succeeded too, if you want to use that term in a secular sense of success. I've had the opportunity to have a career that has come to fruition and been pretty successful, and I've spoken before thousands of people and made pretty good money, and I have pretty decent kids, and whatever it is success is, you realize that we talk about the success is really in the eye of the beholder. So everybody in this lifetime has been spending a lot of hours trying to become successful. And nobody can make you successful. You have to believe that for yourself. Now, I believe until you have a relationship with that creative sustaining force, that power in the universe, whom many call God, until you establish that relationship and know that relationship, you will never find your success. It starts there. In fact, I want to say something to you that's real. We fail and we succeed. We are not a failure or a success. We are just simply human beings, children of God. That's it. The first thing I learned when I got in the right relationship with the God of my understanding was that I was already a success in God's eyes, so it didn't matter in any other human's eyes whether I failed or succeeded. To me, I was done right then and there. That only happened a few years ago. But to me, the striving and the want to do this and to become that, and I need this, and it's all really, you hear the celebrities say it, you hear the people who have been given everything in the world and how miserable they are. You don't find it there. You find it in your right relationship with the God of your understanding, and that means the God within you. Call it whatever you want to call it. That's what everybody's walking around miserable about, not their failure or success. That's a personal matter. But they are frustrated and anxious because there's something missing in their life, and that is that right relationship with the creative sustaining force in the universe. Now, if you're looking for a prescription of how to develop that relationship, you already know. I can't tell you that. I mean, I can tell you about some of the things that I did. And that is, with every failure, I assumed not that the world was conspiring against me, but I assumed that the world, that God was going to conspire in my favor. I just believed that everything was going to work out. I had faith in myself and in the God of my understanding that everything was going to work out, that I would be fine. That, yeah, you got conned. Yeah, you got conned. And yeah, you didn't do very well in your marriage, but I believed in myself because of my relationship with that creative sustaining force. And because of that, I knew that everything was going to be okay. But here's the other point. Here's the other remarkable point. When you get it, you get it. When you get it, you don't spend time worrying about anymore. You're compassionate, you have sympathy and empathy. But at the end of the day, you have made peace with yourself. And so the judgments of your mom or your relatives or whomever, and all of the things we do to try to figure out how to make all these people happy, you realize you don't have to do any of it. In fact, the power of surrender becomes charge of your life. And the weird part about the power of surrender is that as you surrender and let go and let life, let go and let God, everything you need comes to you. Sounds strange. What do you mean? I could just not do anything? No, I'm not saying that. You're missing the point. Let go of your expectations. Let go of the need to succeed. Let go of the worry of failure. And what you want will come to you. That is strange. Everything that I have right now, I don't want to say I don't deserve it. That's the wrong thing to say. But it came to me. I could tell you story after story of my personal and private intimate relationship. I could tell you the story of how I became a minister in this church. I could tell you story after story about the idea of letting go of where I need to go and where I need to be, and how the power of this universe, call it whatever you want, knows the innermost desires of your heart, even if you can't express them. And all you have to do is trust that. Trust that still small voice that says, let go of the control you think you have, and it will come to you. I am way off topic, but that's okay. I want you to listen to this. This is a book you should get. It's by the prophet I'm sorry, it's by, he was a prophet to me. It's by Khalil Gibran. It's the book, The Prophet. Let's read this. Joy and sorrow. And he answered, your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the self-same well from which your laughter rises, oftentimes filled with your tears. The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which is giving you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you're weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come. And when one sits alone with you at your board, remember the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily you are suspended like scales between your soul, sorrow and your joy. And this is the part. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. Only when you are empty, go back to that, are you at standstill and balanced. Only when you give it over are you at standstill and balanced. Here's my Facebook post today. Rising above the yin and the yang, the good and the bad, is not getting to your happy place, your success. Oh, I got to be successful. Or learning to cope with sadness or your failure, as we term it. Rising above means we are happy when it's time to be happy, and we're sad when it's time to be sad. We are fully present in every moment with the joy and the pain. But after a while, when we're ready, wherever we are, we can transcend the situation by changing our perception of the situation. Shifting our perception means we give it over to God. We accept the good and the bad and the gray as a part of living the process. Life gives and takes away. Lord giveth and taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Yin and yang is life. We need both sides, and the gray stuff too, or we lose all perception of our reality. Unconditional acceptance of what success and failure are, lessons, lead us to internal and external transformation, personal power, and that put peace that surpasses all understanding. Amen? Amen. May it be so. Amen.